Hello everyone and welcome to our first public live demo of our new module platform.XO. Today again with our CTO Sinisha, who will guide us through the scripted actions module. Hi Sinisha, how are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too, definitely. Yeah, but Sinisha, before we start, a short introduction to the community. Scripted actions is just the first feature of platform.XO and enable you to deploy unlimited scripts, included CLIs, and executed to multiple cloud platforms and to multiple subscriptions of one cloud provider or multiple cloud providers. Doesn't matter if you are a company and would like to automate your entire IT delivery, or you are an IT service provider and would like to manage multiple customers across multiple accounts. So reduce your complexity and automate the complete delivery chain from A to Z, from application management to configuration management, bundle it to an image and deliver it with platform management. But that's it from my side. Back to the business. Sinisha is here to show us platform management live in action. And yeah, let's get started. Let's get automate, Sinisha.
Let's automate stuff. Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you very much for handing over. So again, XOAP platform here, and now with a new entry here regarding the platform management module. So what did we do over the last months? Actually, we prepared a lot of things side by side, what's necessary for platform management to actually being integrated. But this also enabled us to close the gap between the image management and configuration management. So platform management was the missing piece we had for a very long time. And we invested a lot of work to get this thing up and running so that after you create your automated image templates on Azure AWS, you are now actually able to deploy infrastructure before you then move forward to configure those systems and install applications. But before I go into the application in the platform management, first switch over here to this connections part. And you already said it, Mario. So whether you are a customer or a service provider with hundreds of different accounts you are maybe managing. So we have customers with hundreds of AWS accounts. They are managing. There are for sure a lot of MSPs with much more cloud provider environments they are managing. So the first thing we need to do is when we want to start with platform management, we need to create a connection to a cloud provider. And here we have the possibility to connect to AWS and Azure currently. We will adjust that in the future to support even more providers. So Google is the next thing. And we are also looking at on-premises environments like Nutanix, Proxmox, vSphere related things to even connect the dots between those hybrid environments. And here you are actually able to add as much as you want. And that leads to the point that if we go to platform management and look at the scripts that you can run there, that you don't need to take care of any credentials inside those scripts. So the connections here are actually used to connect transparently during the scripted action run to connect to the environment. You don't have anything to do. You can just focus on those scripted actions here and what the scripts actually are doing. Everything you see here in the scripted actions area is basically a script that is run and that you can add here. So what you need to do is to get scripted actions here in this area. And we are delivering templates for every new customer who's creating a workspace, having a trial. So you will get a few things to get you started. And also, if you want to have a look at the possibilities that we are delivering and the things that we are delivering as a template, I invite you to go to GitHub.XOAP-IO. And here in the upper corner, you have a pinned repository called Scripted Actions. Here you can see examples for AWS CLI, AWS PowerShell, Azure CLI, Azure PowerShell related stuff. And also, if you look into the future, bicep and ARM related things you will be able to run with scripted actions in the near future. So to give you an example, what's possible with those technologies is just opened the Microsoft website. And here's an example for desktop virtualization. For example, if you run Azure Virtual Desktops, there's a ton of things you can automate with Azure CLI and vice versa with Azure PowerShell to automate the creation of your host pools, to disconnect users that are maybe connected for a very long time based on metrics you specify. And the same thing applies also to the AWS related side. So if you can have a look at the AWS documentation with all those references here. So there's a lot of things you can accomplish with PowerShell related scripts. That's just to give you an example of what's actually possible with those things without going into too much of the detail here. And how does a script look like if you write it? So that's also something that I have to show before I go into the front end to give you an idea what's actually how it actually works. Is in the scripted actions repository, you have a template PS1 that you can use to create your own scripts if you want to use it. And you can here, for example, see the different types of parameters you can define. And what we do here is, if you have a script that you then upload to the resources area, and I will do that right now in a minute together with you, is you define the parameters that should be set in the script. You don't hard code them in the best way. So that's our best practices. Don't hard code anything. Just define the parameters that you want to use. And this is the example you can use to start with it. And if I maybe, for example, take now this scripted action here. So it's AWS related, it's using the CLI, and it creates an S3 bucket. So we have a short description here. We have the parameter area here where you define the bucket name and have a validated list of values you can use for the region of this S3 bucket. So whatever you choose here in this region, this bucket will be created. And that is basically everything you need to do in the script to create that S3 bucket. So you have you run AWS S3 API, create bucket, hand over those two parameters here, and that's everything we need. So now, how does this work together with our solution? I will now reveal that here in the Finder and switch over here to resources, because everything that can be used inside our XOAP platform, either if it's scripts for image management, configuration files like FS logics, rule sets, or whatever, all of those things that you maybe have seen in the past, we had in config management and image management. We centralized all of those things to be available here in this resources part. And the very simple thing you have to do is click on this plus button, put that script in here. If you want to override an existing file, just flip the switch here, click on next. If you want to, you can give this resource a short description. Just keep that here. Maybe give it a tag that I created and click on next. This resource is added and will now be available here in this resources area. Additional things I can do here. I don't need to download anything. If I want to adjust PowerShell scripts, I can just click on edit, make my adjustments here, save it, and then I'm good to go. Next feature that we will implement here as well is versioning for such kind of files, so that you have a version history of the changes that were done here. And now if I go to platform management, scripted actions, I can simply click on the plus, search for this resource here, give it a name, demo S3 bucket creation. I could again add tags or a description. I will just leave that out for the moment. And what you see here is now our front end checks the parameters that are inside this PowerShell script. Same procedure in application management for PowerShell app deployment toolkit packages. And here you are able to just define whatever name. So I will just type in something here because there's a gazillion of S3 buckets in the world and I don't know which name is free. That's why I'm just typing some sort of text here. And if you have like a validated list inside the script, you just get a drop-down menu and can choose from the things that are inside the script here. Next thing is just click on next. Then I get the connections that I defined here. So I can choose the AWS demo resources account we are using for demos. So that is the account where this script will be run against. So inside this account, the script will be run. If I want to have like multiple things, 10, 20, 30s, because I maybe want to deploy some sort of security baseline or security groups that I want to have everywhere standardized, I can choose as many connections that I want. And then I just click on finish. And you can see this thing is now ready for being run. And now if you want to have an example how this looks like, maybe have a look at, I'm not going to run this as 3-bucket because the name is weird, but I will choose something else. So maybe we want to go and create a resource group in Azure. So I could simply go here. Let's have a look what's defined here. This is a special case, for example, here. Here you see a name of a parameter, so nothing that I inputted here. So this is a centrally defined parameter that I have in our new centralized parameters area. So the thing is, you can either hard code those values here and just put in whatever resource group name you want, or you can prepare like standardized sets for your resource groups, for your, I don't know, usernames that you want to create locally on machines. Have something like naming conventions that you want your users to use, especially when you're an MSP, you want to standardize things and make those things available for other users. Then you can use centralized created parameters inside those things, but you're also open to just adjust it, whatever, however you like it. So those are the things. Again, you can view the script, change it. All changes that you do, if you add parameters and stuff like that, will automatically be added here. So you can directly move forward in customizing the scripts and running them. You're free. Every of our modules has a defined standard that everything you put into the XOAP platform, you're also able to get it out. So you have this download script button, or just have this run script button. And now I will click on run. And since this runs here, I will go to parameters and see what the Azure resource group name is here. So here we can see the value. So that's basically the name of the resource group that should now be created out of this. And here you have different kinds of parameter types. You can also define to like have those libraries of different parameter sets that you can use everywhere inside this XOAP platform here. So let's have a look what happens here.
And very important also, if there's a credentials entered over there, they're encrypted. So there's no clear type of password insert. So it's encrypted and you can reuse it in the whole infrastructure deployment chain.
And now I switched over to our Azure demo account, and you can see here scripted actions demo. This resource group was created.
Just to interrupt, can you just switch back and make it a little bit bigger because it's not so clear to see? Yeah,
there it is. So there it is. This is the resource group that we just created, and it was so quick that we couldn't even see that it's running. So what you can do here is you can look at the log, and you will get an output with what was actually being done here. And you can see here the resource group name, scripted actions demo was created, the provisioning status succeeded. So here I have the chance to see, was there an issue maybe inside my script, maybe with the connections credentials maybe changed, or something else happened. So here you have the chance to see actually what was done with the script. And if you go into the details, you can also have a look at the past runs and check, okay, what maybe changed here? Here was a failed one. Here I have a few successful ones. So to see something like a history and get an idea of what was actually being done inside those runs. That was, I think we're running out of time already, so I have to stop with the demos. I would like to show you more. But one thing I'd like to mention is, so this is just the first version of scripted actions that we are delivering. So the next steps, what we will implement is a central schedules area here. So you will be able to define schedules, and those schedules will be integrated into the scripted runs. So you will be able to run scripted actions on a daily base, monthly base, hourly base, whatever you want to achieve with the scripts, whatever it does. So that's something that we are working on. And after this, we will also implement scripted actions dependencies. So you will be able to create like a hierarchical order of first create a resource group, then create a VM, then register this VM in our XOAP platform, for example, to enable the configuration management of those nodes, and so on and so on. So those are the next steps we are working on to make this solution where you can completely automate your infrastructure deployment just based on PowerShell, those scripts, to standardize the things for your users or administrators, or if you maybe want to define the scripts and hand it over to an operational team that's not capable of writing the scripts, but is just able maybe to adjust the parameters like computer names or security groups. So there's a lot of potential to deploy your infrastructure with platform management, especially in combination with image management, because if you created images, you can use the platform management and deploy the images you created directly to a VM or a scale set or whatever, and move forward with your infrastructure automation.
That's an amazing step. So we will so keep on track. Yeah, stay tuned. Ring the bell also on YouTube. Sinisha, thank you for the insights over here. You can find everything on the website. On our blog is a step-by-step guide for scripted actions to go through how to handle it, how to work with, how to create your account, and so on. Follow our channels. We will deliver more and more videos and tutorials, especially in the direction of CLI automation, add more scripts for Azure Virtual Desktop, for Amazon Workspaces, and maybe other use cases. So please drop us also a message. If you want to see a special use case, send us a message. We will create a video, create content for you, and support you to create your automation process in this delivery chain. That's from my side also. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Sinisha, for the insights. 20 minutes so fast. That's unbelievable. But impressive progress, and nice to. I'm looking forward to see more of them. Have a great day and see you all soon.
Thanks for watching. See you.
Bye.